Have you ever worked really hard for something and then the result is just miserable? Like the result of all your hard work just leads to pretty much nothing? Well, that is me with this 8.1 completion run. Because this was not easy, of course. With Act 8, it is a lot tougher than Act 7 because of the health pools. The average health pools of Act 7 are like 360,000 just about. For Act 8, it's over 500,000. So it is a massive step up for me, and for my rank 2 champions, it is not easy in the slightest. My strongest champions are still just rank 3 characters, so I can't just breeze my way through it. It is a slog pretty much all the time. So Act 8 is a tough challenge for my account for sure, but thankfully I have some pretty overpowered champions like Archangel, Omega Sentinel, Sandman, which by the way, the buff looks great, and my newly ranked up Storm. So that is my team that I mainly use throughout this quest, or throughout the chapter, sorry, and it goes pretty well. So I was pretty proud of this because, yeah, I didn't use that many revives, and if I did, it was on Catalis, which is justifiable because she is a very scary boss. But now we have the She-Hulk boss here. No big deal, just has this Newton's Law node, which is somewhat annoying, but once you get it down, it really isn't too shabby. But Storm is fantastic. She is a great champion overall. Her damage output when she gets going is honestly wild, but here I mess up so I don't get the solo. But it's fine, like, I wasn't gonna anyway because I went in with low health. But like I was saying here, man, the health pools are such a massive difference than what they were in Act 7. Because in Act 7, the bosses have the same health pools as the path fights in Act 8. And Act 8 bosses have like over 800,000 health, which is just insane to me, man. Like, it is so crazy just how much it steps up after just one chapter. But I guess it makes sense because with Act 8, this was the era of rank 4 characters and like rank 5 characters. So this isn't content made for rank 3 champions or rank 2 champions even. So this is not where I'm supposed to be at, but I'm just trying to step into water that is too deep for me. But hey, we get it done anyway, so doesn't really matter. And this boss fight is almost over. Also, Bloodstone, just a great champion as well. And now it is time for this Mr. Sinister boss. So this is a Sandman fight, and he does very well here. Sandman, just a great champion overall with his control of the fight. Like, the unblockable doesn't really matter here because of Sandman's control. He has access to a heavy attack root, and the root just makes sure that the opponent doesn't even touch you, which is so good, man. Root is such a good ability, and despite it being nerfed, which by the way, rip Kraven still, it still has a ton of control over the fight, so I do appreciate Root a ton, and more champions deserve it. Like, Sandman is a great one, Zemo great as well, Kraven no longer great with it, Kindred is a pretty strong Root champion as well. But yeah, Root is just such a good ability and I really appreciate it. So this fight is going very well. Sandman, once he gets going, is just a powerhouse. The damage output is absurd, and what I've seen from the buff, he requires less ramp up now, which is of course a great thing. He maxes out at 20 debuffs and 5 heavy attacks, so he becomes a lot stronger a lot sooner. And this fight is a mess. I cannot stand this Corvus boss. It was like 8 minutes in total, and that just shows you how annoying these fights are, man, because they just take so much time. I saw that Kabam dropped a new challenge where you have to complete Act 7 with only 7-star champions, and that I don't mind because 7-star champions have pretty strong stats, and Act 7 has much lower health pools. If it was complete Act 8 with 7-star champions, I wouldn't want to do it because, yeah, the health pools are just so high, and it's so annoying, and I just cannot stand it. So, yeah, Archangel here, he gets the job done pretty much, but it's such a brutal fight because Corvus is very unideal for Archangel. But I mean, whatever works, right? Gotta make do with what you have, and I don't have much on this account. At this point, I had like maybe 6 champions that are rank 2 and above, and that includes a 5-star Senate CGR, so I didn't have that many options for sure. But it's all about making things work. And that's why alternate accounts are really fun, because you don't have your top champions. Like on my main account, I could just use my plethora of rank 5 characters if I wanted to, but with this account, I don't have a single rank 5 champion. I don't have a rank 4 champion even, so I have to make do with these rank 3 champions or even these rank 2 champions, sometimes a rank 1 champion. So yeah, man, that is the alt account life, and I'm just used to it at this point. But this Corvus is going down, thankfully, but very slowly as well, so I'm not really too thankful about it. But that doesn't matter because his health is draining, and that's good because we want that to happen. And our health drains a bit too much, so we drain all the way to 0 and we do not survive. But it's fine because Storm is here. Just kidding, she gets 1 shot in 3 hits. How lovely is that? But thankfully, Cassie Lang is actually here, and Cassie Lang does get the job done. That Storm fight, do not mind that, please. That was just a light blunder because it was pretty late at night here when I was doing these fights. So yeah, that was just nothing, no big deal. And that is quest 4 done. Now it is time for quest number 5, which is this Hercules boss. Now Hercules is a very underrated champion in this game. You know, not really popular, not really talked about at all, not even used that much either. Just a very underrated character, and I really feel like he deserves some more love because he's honestly not that bad. I know people want him to get buffed and all that, but honestly, a Herc buff could do some good things for him. And I'm kidding, of course. Hercules is the best champion in the game, and it is annoying. Well, it's not annoying because he's actually pretty fun to play. And what a shocker, right? I like playing Hercules. Who would have thought? Pretty much no one. But yeah, I actually enjoy Hercules' gameplay. It's pretty dang fun, man. But anyway, this boss fight is not too difficult. CGR just the superior cosmic, to be honest. Kidding, he's not, no one is, but he's number like 3 or 4 in my opinion. Still pretty good, still very strong as well, so you can't take that away from him. CGR is nuts, man. He is so nuts. And look at this damage output after this. He just gets going, man. He is so powerful. He's hitting like a rank 5 6-star champion, and he is a 5-star ascended champion, not even rank 5. But then yeah, that kind of shows because he got 1 shot by that SP1, so that is fine. We have Storm here, and Storm doesn't get the job done, unfortunately, but she does put in a valiant effort. And Storm is one of those champions where once she gets going, her damage output is just nuts, and she really does carry a quest sometimes. So that's why I took her up, because she is just such a good champion in certain scenarios. Well, honestly, she is just a generally good champion. But with Archangel, we do 1 hit, wait out the immortality, and that is quest 5 done. Now it is time for quest 6, which is this Catalis final boss. Pretty scary stuff here, man. So this final boss, like I said before, these past final bosses have been incredible. Like Bahamut, Catalis right here, 7.3 and 7.4 King, just all fantastic boss fights. And with Catalis here, she is all about traps. So whenever she drops a special attack, either the SP1 or the SP2, she places a trap on the field. And if you go into it, then you get rooted, and that's not fun at all. But if you push her into it, then she gets rooted and she loses her corrupted armor, and that lets you do damage for a certain amount of time. Now that is the main thing of this boss fight, just trapping her in her own traps, doing damage that way, rinse and repeat, and then just get her down eventually. And it is a really fun boss fight. The root stuff is just amazing, and it is really creative as well because no other boss fight has root in its abilities. So it is a great twist of a boss fight. I really do love it, and also, just like any other boss fight that is new at least, this can be done with pretty much any champion that you want to use. But prowess champions get a pretty big benefit from it, so if you want to have a good counter for the fight, I suggest using a high prowess character like Storm right here. Storm is fantastic for this fight because of the prowess that she has. She has probably the most prowess in the game at times. She has up to 99, so once she gets going, the damage output is insane for Storm. And nothing really changes as the phases go on with this Catalis boss. which is kind of unlike most bosses because, for example, Bahamut has the Heat Blast, King has like the different motion sensor things and has the slow motion as well. Who else has like a change throughout the phases? The Grand Master has a phase change every so often. Same thing with 7.3 King. Like, it does really alter the fight, but with this one it kind of is unnoticeable in my opinion. So it is pretty weird for sure, but I mean, no issues there. It makes things a bit easier, but it still is a good fight overall, and it still can be challenging for sure because her damage output is pretty nasty, and she also fails abilities, so watch out for that. It is a nice combo of just some unique stuff, some challenging stuff as well, and a good like understanding of how to make a boss fight because it requires mastery and it requires skill, not just RNG luck like the Collector was, which by the way, I'm still not over that fight. The Collector is such a pain and I cannot stand that boss fight. But yeah, this fight is going pretty well. She is going down, which is all that matters. So here she has that one icon, right? So whenever she throws the SP1, she places a trap on the field. So the trap is set, so I wait out the timer, and then once it is armed, I drop my SP1 and I push her into the trap. And that stuns her, and it also removes her corrupted armor. So that makes things a lot easier, and it gives you a pretty massive damage bump as well. Like 22,000 mediums, and watch this SP2 right here. Some pretty nasty damage, even with no crit, still over 100,000. You'll love to see it. So this is just going very, very well. Here we can just bail this SP1 again to get her to throw the trap, and then once the trap is on the field, we trap her in it, get that extra damage going, and then yeah, have such a fun time just doing as much damage as possible. So the trap is set, we drop the SP1 to push her in it, and things are looking pretty dang good now. And we kind of mess up, to be fair. We don't get the SP1 timing perfectly, which is an important thing here. Make sure the special attack has like a lot of range to it because it will just make it easier to push her into the trap. But there she is pushed in, she is now stunned, and we can just get going. And look at this damage, it is quite nice. Here she drops SP1 again, that's no big deal. That in fact helps us, to be honest, so no complaints there. And we drop the SP2 here after she comes towards us, and we push into the trap one more time, and look at that damage, man. 179,000 damage. You'll love to see it. This fight is just going super well, and she is down to 10% now. We dropped the SP2 after this heavy attack, and look at that, man. She is now in the final phase. So the final phase is a bit different here. You can't remove her armor anymore, and you do damage by having prowess. Prowess removes the effect of a corrupted armor, so you want to have as much prowess as possible. So that is why Storm is such a good option for this matchup. And the fight goes decently, at least. We get some more damage in, but then we mess up big time, and that does cost us. But here I drop the SP1, and the armor doesn't disappear, but it goes down because of the prowess gain. So that is important to know, that the prowess does help us get her armor up down a little bit faster. So here she drops the SP2, no big deal. The trap is now set. Also no big deal because I can just push her into it after it gets armed. So here I drop the SP1, and now things are looking pretty good for us. She is now stunned. Very nice. 2.8 thousand damage. Not too shabby in the slightest. And yeah, we drop an SP1 again, I believe. Or do we drop the SP2? We drop something. No, we drop dead because we do not survive that. Yeah, I did not think that through. I just got kind of destroyed there. It is what it is. Let's try out Storm one more time to try to finish off this matchup. This was like 2 revives, I believe. Not too shabby. Not the best, not the worst. I will take it for this first time completion run. So let's see Storm in action again. And like I said, she is one of the best options for this final phase because prowess is the best thing to help you out. So I can just go in. Very slow start, of course, but Storm, like I said, when she gets going, she is such a powerhouse. And the game plan here is to just push the SP2, and then once she's at the SP2, bait out the trap her in it, reduce her corrupted armor, and then we were just chilling. And yeah, once you master the fight, it really isn't that bad. The trap stuff is honestly more fun than dangerous in my opinion, but of course it can be pretty dangerous too, so it's not anything to make fun of, right? It is pretty dang cool, if anything. But there we dropped the SP2, some okay damage. You can't do too much damage here because of the reduction from the corrupted armor, and you can't really remove it either besides the prowess, which is a bit annoying, but it's fine. Like, this is a final phase, so it's bound to be pretty dang nasty, which it is definitely not easy in the slightest. So here I dropped SP1 again. She is now trapped once more, and our damage is looking better and better as time goes on. We are almost there. She is at 3%. Here though, I'm a bit trapped, which is annoying. I get hit, but thankfully I survive, so I can just trap her in one more time, and hopefully that just does it for her. And this is pretty scary, man. Being cornered like this, you hate to see it, but there I get her in the trap once more. And yeah, man, things are looking pretty good for us. So here I just dropped some combos. She is at 2% now, which is super close to the finish. I dropped the SP1. It isn't enough. She is at 1% now. I drop another combo, and then I drop another SP1, and that unfortunately doesn't do it. So she just drops the SP3, and that is a one-shot guaranteed. So not too shabby, man. She is at how much health? Like 18,000 or something. We'll get her down with also Bloodstone. Let's just try this out. Hopefully this is the last attempt, which I think it is. 0 damage though, that's pretty scary. That is not fun in the slightest. But then it goes up to 180. So yeah, watch out, Catalis. That is a ton of damage right there. I am kidding, of course. I am super worried here. But here I can just bet the SP2, and then, you know, the usual stuff. Get her into the trap, and then just one-shot her, hopefully. So the trap is set. Gotta play it slow now. Just dex her attacks. Just don't let her get me into the trap, because then I am done for sure. And that is perfect. Well executed on my end, which is surprising, of course, but hey, I'll take it. And she is almost down, man. I dropped this SP1 again. She is probably at like, what, 5,000 health now, so it is pretty much any day now going to be over. So I'm like, please just go down already, and she doesn't. She refuses to, which is super annoying. So I get one more combo in, and I'm like, please go down, but she still doesn't, and she is still resilient, so I just have to go in for another combo, and she is still not down yet, which is super annoying. She drops CSP2. This is going on for way too long, and I'm over it, right? So I get one more intercept going right here. I drop my last combo, and that does it, man. That last hit finally finishes off the fight, and that is 8.1 completed in about 2 revives. So I will take it for sure, man. That was not shabby in the slightest. So 8.1 is done. That was some pretty hard work. So let's see my rewards for this hard work. So we get some tier 6 basic, some tier 3 alpha, some 6-star shards as well. Some pretty nice stuff. So let's see how this turns out. Please, something decent here, man. I need some good rewards to help me progress to 8.2. And let's get it started, man. So here is this 2 to 3 gem after these 25% crystals. Here, just give me something decent. We got science, we got mutant for storm, which is perfect. I will take that for sure. Here are some more 5% crystals. Doesn't really matter here, no big deal. But now it is time for the 2 to 3 gem. This can be a game changer, obviously. Like, it can be such a big deal. So I just want something of good value here. I want tech, I want mutant, I want skill. Just something that I can use right now, please, for 8.2. Anything but cosmic. Cosmic is just a no. I don't have a good cosmic character yet, so just please avoid cosmic at all costs. And the crystal stops, and it stops on a mutant gem. Now that is fantastic. That is a great gem. That is for storm, so I will take that for sure, man. A rank 3 storm sounds really good right now. So hey, that is a pretty massive win. So far so good, right? Where is the bad opening? Well, let me show you, because now it is 6-star champion time. We have 2 crystals here. Hopefully something decent, man. We have 2 shots at getting a good champion. So any strong skill character, any strong cosmic character as well, this has so much potential. There is Sunspot in the reel, there is Magneto, there is Mysterio. There are some great champions already. I saw Absman as well. That'd be fantastic. Just please something of good value here. So I stopped the crystal, and there is Hulkbuster, there is Sunspot, there is Ghost, and it lands on a 6-star version of Cyclops. Bad start. Very bad start, but you know what, man? We have one more crystal. This isn't over yet, right? Never lose hope until it's over. We have one more shot. So I'm like, you know what? Let's try to pop this thing. Let's just wait it out and then pop the crystal and see what happens here. Hopefully a good champion. And we get Groot, the worst champion in the game by a country mile. That is just absurd. That is unreal. Literally, it could not be worse than that. That was just a terrible opening. I don't even know what to say about that, man. My reward for completing 8.1 with that roster is a Groot and a Cyclops. How fun is that? How unmotivating is that as well? But you know what, man? I'm just going to brush past it. So let me know your thoughts on this completion run. And yeah, that's about it for me.